I grew up in the United States, but still spent 15 months in immigration detention. I thought it was a constitutional right to have a speedy trial and due process in the courts. But since I was undocumented, they took my rights away. They took my freedom away, and a little bit of my dignity too. When I was about 19, my life fell apart. I had found out I was undocumented when I couldn't get my license. After that, I didn't care as much about school because I knew I couldn't go to college, and so I dropped out and got into some trouble. It was just a kid's thing. I got in a fight with someone over a game console. It got blown out of proportion, and I got arrested. The next day, immigration came, and they sent me to immigration detention in Georgia. And because I had prior possession of marijuana, I was denied bond. Any drug charge at all, you are there until your case is done. My choice was be deported to a country I never knew, or fight my case and be in prison over a year and still maybe get deported. My family wanted me to fight the case, and I did too, because I was just a kid and I considered myself an American, even though I was born in Mexico. When I was locked up in prison, most people were there for minor offenses. My case was simple assault, but most of the people in prison were there for driving without a license. I met one guy in prison who was from Puerto Rico. He is supposed to be a U.S. citizen, but he was there in immigration detention. I talked to some people whose families didn't even know where they were until they got a phone call from Mexico after they were deported. So pretty much, if you don't have any money, you can't contact anybody. You have no communication with them. Me being in immigration detention impacted my family pretty bad. Both my mom and dad were impacted by the stress. My dad's diabetes got a lot worse, and both my parents were put on medication for anxiety and depression. They lost a lot of weight as well. Well, you hear that people get gray hair whenever they're stressed too much. Well, I kind of seen it in my parents, especially in my dad and his beard, something you can't really ignore. My little brother graduated while I was inside, and that hurt pretty bad. I dropped out of school, but I thought I would at least get to see my brother graduate. That was a really big accomplishment for him. But it hurt me that I wasn't there. After that, I couldn't ask my family anymore about what was happening on the outside. It hurt too much. I got into a funk when I was in there where I didn't really leave my room for a month. You can't do anything but get depressed when you're locked up in there. Many people just say screw it, I'd rather get deported. It's very depressing just to sit there and have no idea what is going to happen to you. It messes with your mind a lot. Towards the end of my case, my lawyers had everything they needed to finish my case, except that I needed to get my physical. But the prison said, that's not our department, that's up to immigration. And immigration said, that's not our department, you have to talk to the prison. I spent an extra 2 months in prison while they argued about my physical, so there was 2 more months wasted. I would like to ask others, how would you like to be taken away from your family for not having a driver's license and maybe being sent to a country you don't know, a different world? Is it fair to spend 15 months in prison just for getting into a fight? Undocumented people have to go through these things other people don't. Maybe things would be different if people put themselves in other shoes.